Imagine this, you're a young dad in the early 2000s. 2 kids. A wife you think you can trust. And then, tiny cracks start showing. Extra miles on her car. Strange excuses. A sticky note with her AOL password left behind. And when you finally log in, you discover the betrayal that flips your entire world upside down. But instead of falling apart, you make a plan. And the plan doesn't just take her down, it destroys the man she cheated with, his marriage, his career, his reputation, his entire life. If you've ever dreamed of seeing a cheater or liar get the punishment they deserve, hit that like button right now. And subscribe for more stories of revenge that will leave you grinning ear to ear. Because trust me, this one is pure brutal karma. It all started back in the early 2000s. My kids were about 4 and 6 years old enough to talk, but still innocent enough to spill little truths without realizing the impact. They kept mentioning how often they were at my in-laws' place. At first, I didn't think much of it. Grandparents like to see their grandkids, right? But here's the problem. My wife's parents lived 90 minutes away. And somehow, my kids were staying there 2 or 3 times a week. That didn't add up. I'd ask her about it, and she'd brush me off with a smile that never quite reached her eyes. Thing is, my wife was a terrible liar. Her voice would tighten. Her shoulders would stiffen. And my gut kept screaming something wasn't right. So, I did what any man in my position would do. I started tracking her car's mileage. Quietly. Secretly. The numbers didn't lie. She was driving about 400 extra miles every single week. That's not errands. That's not part-time work. That's something else. And I knew it. One afternoon, I sat down at the computer. And there it was, a sticky note with her AOL password written on it. Just sitting there. I stared at it for a long moment, my heart pounding. My head told me not to invade her privacy. But my gut? My gut told me the truth was right there waiting. So, I logged in. And what I found confirmed every suspicion. Emails between her and her college best friend. My wife bragging. Laughing. Writing about how she was sneaking around with her high school ex-boyfriend. She even mocked the guy's wife, ridiculing her for gaining weight after having kids. The cruelty in her words was like acid burning through me. I printed every single email. Tucked them away. My hands were shaking, but not from fear anymore. From rage. From clarity. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. She was cheating. But here's the thing, I didn't want to blow up right away. My parents cheated on each other when I was a kid, and the fallout wrecked me and my siblings. I wasn't going to let my kids live through that same chaos. So instead, I went quiet. Calculating. I called up a friend of mine who was a cop. Told him what was happening. He said, "You need to talk to Ron." Ron was a private investigator, an ex-cop with the kind of instincts you don't question. I handed him the emails, gave him the details I knew, and let him work. And man, did he deliver. His report came back thick with details, dates, times, photos. My wife dropping the kids at her parents', meeting her old boyfriend for lunch, then slipping into a dumpy motel for a few hours before picking the kids back up, smiling like nothing had happened. The evidence was airtight. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I asked Ron to dig into the other man. The homewrecker. His name was Bob. Married. 3 kids. A vice president of sales at his father-in-law's business. On the surface, he looked like a successful family man. Behind the curtain, he was scum. Now I knew 2 things. My marriage was over. And Bob had everything to lose. So I called my lawyer. We drafted divorce papers. And then I told Ron I wanted 2 extra copies of his report. Because I wasn't just going to take my wife down, I was going to detonate Bob's entire life. The day came. My wife was at work when she got served with divorce papers. Her world shattered in an instant. I didn't even need to see her reaction. I knew the truth was finally in the open. But that wasn't the satisfying part. The real payoff came when Ron walked up to Bob's wife, sweet woman, blindsided by betrayal, and handed her the report. All the photos. All the motel visits. All the evidence she needed to see what her husband really was. What she did with that information. That was up to her. And oh, did she use it. It was like watching dominoes fall, one after the other. Bob's wife didn't just leave him. She annihilated him. She cleaned out their joint bank account, took the kids and ran. Her father, Bob's boss, found out. And just like that, Bob was fired. Not demoted. Not suspended. Fired. And because her parents actually owned the house Bob and his wife lived in, he got kicked out there too. Homeless. Jobless. Family gone. But karma wasn't done yet. Their divorce turned ugly. Court filings, screaming matches, restraining orders. At one point, Bob showed up at the house to argue, and his brother-in-law broke his nose. Police were involved. Criminal charges. Even jail time. The man lost everything. His career. His marriage. His home. His dignity. And me? I didn't even have to lift a finger. These days, Bob's a ghost. You can't find him online. Rumor has it he left the state, trying to rebuild somewhere far away. His ex-wife, though? She thrived. She stepped into her dad's company, worked hard, and eventually took over after he retired. She came out stronger. As for me, I divorced my wife quietly. We co-parented until the kids grew up, and now that they're adults, I have no reason to speak to her anymore. Do I hate her? No. She's the mother of my kids, and that's the only context in which she matters to me. But I'll tell you this, betrayal cuts deep. And sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't loud. It's methodical. It's watching karma do the work for you. So let's recap. She cheated. He cheated. And in the end, they both lost everything. But the real winner? Me. Because I walked away with my dignity intact. And the knowledge that sometimes, justice doesn't just come, it comes with a sledgehammer. Revenge doesn't always mean screaming matches or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes it's patience, planning, precision, and when the moment's right, watching the people who wronged you collapse under the weight of their own choices. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more tales of betrayal and payback. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying act of karma you've ever witnessed? Because sometimes, the universe really does keep score.